Liberals are too incompetent to overthrow democracy, and that's obvious from history. Every successful authoritarian revolution has had two things in common: a coherent worldview and a competent military force. Lenin, for example, Lenin had the writings of Karl Marx to provide an ideological justification for his revolution, and he had the military genius of Leon Trotsky to pull it off.
Tucker Carlson's talking about Democrats overthrowing democracy. I'll let you guys finish laughing from that for a second before I continue, because not only that, of course, this is based off of President Biden somehow, but not only that, there's an unlikely source. There's a person behind this entire thing that's looking to overthrow democracy. Yes, I said it again because if you think back to January 6th, if you think back to former President Trump, if you think back to all of his minions and supporters who are talking about civil war and jailing their political opponents and all of that, still listen to Tucker Carlson talk about who's behind all this. Watch more.
For all his power, Joe Biden does not have these two things. Marx and Trotsky, no. Joe Biden has Taylor Lorenz and Mark Milley. Lorenz is the ideological anchor of the Biden White House. She's its muse, it's Che Guevara. They are inspired by her revolutionary fervor.
Really? So apparently it's Taylor Lorenz that's behind this, and she's the standard bearer of the Democratic Party, specifically of President Biden. As a matter of fact, let's let him continue talking about the things that she stands for.
But Taylor Lorenz does not write weighty books. Twitter is her canvas. And having surveyed her oeuvre, we can tell you that Lorenz's main idea appears to be that anyone who doesn't wear an N95 mask in the shower is a racist. That's the sum total of her ideology. Now, there are probably several dozen people in Cambridge who agree with that, but it is hardly the basis of a popular movement. It's not Marxism, it's whining. So that's a problem for Biden.
I don't even think his followers or his listeners and viewers really know what the hell he's talking about. So Taylor responded in the only way that you could when you're trying to figure out what a madman is talking about when he brings up your name. And she did tweet this out in jest. She goes, Biden, here's a picture of Biden trying to figure out who the hell I am and why our names are trending together. By the way, Taylor Lorenz is a reporter over at, I think it's Washington Post, am I right? Yeah, Washington Post culture reporter over there because she's pulling Biden's strings somehow. And also an editor from Daily Beast who at one point actually hired her as well. He poked some fun at it too because he knows her well enough to tell her this. He says, when I hired Taylor Lorenz at the Daily Beast, she had just come back from motorcycling across South America and was wearing a beret at a jaunty angle. I told her, go spread the religious revolution far and wide. Start your work in Wilmington, Delaware. Find your disciple. And apparently she has found him. But one more time, what was that word that Tucker said? Oeuvre? Listen.
And having surveyed her oeuvre.
Okay.
Okay. So obviously this is a target-rich environment. There's so many hilarious things in here. But of course, as always, keep in mind, as we laugh our asses off at what a comedy this is, literally every person watching Tucker Carlson believes it's true. They believe it with 100% certainty, and they think all of it is totally true. So like, as we laugh, are we laughing at Tucker's audience too? Sure, of course we are. I mean, who would be so maniacally stupid as to believe any of this? But remember, Tucker Carlson told this audience that if Joe Biden wins, he's gonna force you to drink Starbucks every day. Now, I don't know if that's happened to you yet, but the audience is totally unmoved by the fact that nobody's pouring Starbucks down their throats, right? Okay, so my main takeaway, other than is is that I am so jelly of Taylor Lorenz. Tucker, why didn't you just randomly pick me? Jesus, the ideological anchor of the Democrats and Che Guevara. Jesus, that's badass. They once did a video that Sean Hannity showed on Fox News where I was the mastermind behind AOC's win. Don't get me wrong. The video had like 4 or 5 people, and it made no sense. It was like, and you know what? Sean Chakrabarty is the mastermind. 2 minutes later, Cenk Uygur is the mastermind. There was like 5 masterminds. Anyways, but God, Taylor Lorenz, look, she's a really good reporter. We've had her on here. We like her. She does like N95 masks, okay? But she is, and by the sum total of her ideology is not that you're racist if you're not wearing one in the shower. I mean, come on. I know he's doing it a little tongue in cheek, but I'm positive his audience believes it literally. No, Biden wouldn't listen to a progressive if his life depended on it, let alone a random Washington Post reporter reporting on online stuff. Let alone any progressive. He won't even listen to Bernie. He won't listen to the Progressive Caucus. He's gonna listen to Taylor Lorenz because she's the Che Guevara and the Yoda of Joe Biden. I mean, I think what Tucker's doing is a social experiment. How dumb is my audience? What can I get them to actually believe that no human being would ever believe that other people could believe, but I'll get 3 million of them to believe?
What was he trying to say?
I'm still.
What was the word he was trying to say there? I can't figure it out. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah. So first of all, I mean, Jesus Christ, pretending that Joe Biden is some vanguard revolutionary leader. I mean, you have to have the mental capacity of hot dog water to believe that. Like, is that how dumb his audience is? That they're like you just have to have air between your ears, just nothing going on up there to see centrist Joe Biden and think, oh yeah, this is the man who's bringing socialism to America. So that's number one. Number two, Taylor Lorenz derangement syndrome is so real. She's a wonderful reporter. I followed her for a while. I follow her on Instagram actually, and a couple months ago, I got a message from a bot account that said, "I see that you follow Taylor Lorenz. Well, did you know that she was fired from the New York Times because she used to work for the New York Times?" It's not true. She wasn't fired, and then just a whole long list of other lies about her and her reporting. And I found out later that someone had paid for a bot to send that to everyone's Instagram account who had open DMs, who followed her, to try to slander her. Because sometimes because she writes for the tech column, sometimes she writes articles about really rich and really powerful people in tech, and sometimes she pisses off the right people if you care about actual investigative journalism, the wrong people if you don't want to be the victim of a harassment campaign. But I mean, Tucker Carlson didn't just randomly pick her out of thin air. He's been harassing her for over a year now, sending his rabid followers after her, saying that she's some elitist, which is ridiculous coming from Tucker McNear, Swanson Carlson. I mean, you went to private schools your entire life. You're only in the position you have because daddy bought you your first job. I mean, everything in life has been handed to him, but we're supposed to believe that, this culture reporter is the person who's pulling the strings behind the scene and has more power and influence than the #1 most watched cable news host. It's ridiculous. But she continues to do her work and continues to uncover, important stories. And I have a lot of respect for her because she's been doxxed, she's been, harassed for years now, and she keeps going.
Yeah, so I want to clarify a couple of things. First off, since we're the fairest show in America, I thought he was going for Ouvre. It's O-U-V-R-E, and the definition is a substantial body of work constituting the life work of a writer, an artist, or a composer. So it is a word, and he did use it correctly, and it was a little funny the way he said it. So look, fairest man in America. Okay, now, let me tell you about the part of the segment that was way worse than what we just discussed. So he talked about Mark Milley too, and he's like, oh, he's the Trotsky, the military guy, but he's incompetent. He says, remember when Republicans used to yell at us, support the troops, support the Lockheed Martin needs more money, we're gonna invade Iraq. I mean, support the troops, and they all put the ribbons on the cars and all that stuff, right? I mean, Tucker Carlson is ripping into the military night in, night out. To the generals, to everyone else, just like Donald Trump did. He said in that segment, the only thing scared of Mark Milley is a pepperoni pizza. And so, I mean, if the Democrats had said that about the generals before the Iraq war, everyone, including the mainstream media, would have ripped their face off, right? But hey, Tucker could say it all night long. Okay, so he doesn't like some of the generals, don't care, that's not a big deal. But then he made the pivot. He made the pivot to, no, they're trying to take over the country with this Marxist Che Guevara, Taylor Lorenz, and the military General Milley, and they're coming for you. And he kept saying over and over in that segment, this is really dangerous, it's aimed at you, this is gonna be a dictatorial takeover, and they're gonna come for you. You should not feel safe, okay? He's just egging on violence every night, every night. That incredibly gullible, brainwashed audience of his go, oh my God, Mark Milley and Taylor Lorenz are gonna come over here. Oh, everybody watch out for the, get your guns, get your guns, get your guns. And so, and every night he talks, and the constant references, not just him, but all over right-wing media, Second Amendment rights, government tyranny, make sure you attack the government. Okay, Second Amendment rights. Nah, they're egging on an absolute disaster. And the way that Tucker Carlson is knowingly doing it for profit is one of the sickest things I've ever seen.
And part of that profit, by the way, is this is the thing. This is the process of demonizing someone. We're talking about why Taylor Lorenz, why coming after her, why is this odd nonsense line of criticism coming towards her? Once you start the demonization of someone that you need to make sure is buried underneath that demonization, you have to continue on. You have to go back to feed your audience some more red meat when it comes to hating her. Like, oh yeah, why do we hate her again? Oh, who cares? Tucker just told us that she's the puppet master in the string and carries the strings and controls Biden somehow. But they'll buy that because they need something. It's like our stomachs are almost empty of the hate on Taylor Lorenz. We almost forgot about her because there's actually nothing she has to do with this administration, but still, let's find something. And then, as you point out, then that's when the money comes in. Get those ratings, get those folks watching. It's like, oh yeah, we hate her. That's why Hunter Biden's this big main figure. Hunter Biden, Hunter Biden, Hunter Biden. You say it and many conservative MAGA ears perk up.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.